What's the most dangerous thing is if elites no longer fear the majority of the population. That brings revolution, it brings instability. And I've wondered for a long time now, at least since the financial crisis, but even before that, why are our billionaires and our extremely rich oligarchs so indifferent to the anger that obviously they're generating among the great majority of people? Rockefeller and Ford used to ride down the street and throw dollars at people to improve their PR. They cared about, appeasing public rage of their wealth and power. The current oligarch class seems indifferent to that. Their choice seems to be, let's just build up a surveillance state and a militarized state and crush them if they try and do anything. And I think a lot of that is what you're seeing here, this idea that nobody wants to talk about that, and this is a really good window into it.
All right, folks, we are back here on WLTH 1370 AM, straight out of Cannon, with me, Scott Cannon. It is 6:41 in the PM here on December the 13th, 2024. The future's here. The future is now. You just heard the great Glenn Greenwald, America's greatest journalist, one of America's greatest journalists, talking about how the elites no longer fear the public, because their plan is to just militarize themselves and sort of inculcate themselves into a certain bubble and keep themselves and their family safe. And last week, that bubble was penetrated. And so now a lot of them are running pretty scared after a gunman killed UnitedHealtcare CEO on December 4th. In a targeted attack outside of a Manhattan hotel where the health insurer was holding its investor conference. Brian Thompson, who was 50 years old, was shot around 6:45 in the AM as he walked alone to the New York Hilton Midtown from a nearby hotel. The shooter appeared to be just lying in wait for several minutes before approaching Thompson from behind, and blah! He busted a cap in him, busted a few caps in him. If you look at the surveillance video, he actually came from behind him, behind a parked car, pointed at the gun in his back, and then fired multiple times. He unloaded the clip, and the gunman kept firing, and the gun jammed. Actually, if you actually watch the video, the gun did jam a few times, and the dude just kept bussing. He just kept bussing and bussing. The man accused of killing him now is named Luigi Mangione. I wonder if he's related to Chuck Mangione. I mean, I've been wondering that the last few weeks. Is this dude related to Chuck Mangione? So he is actually fighting being sent to face charges in New York City after being caught in Pennsylvania. He's actually being held without bail, where he was arrested at McDonald's on Monday after a broad search. And let me just say this, okay? If you that worker at McDonald's, if you are that worker at McDonald's, shame, okay? Shame, you snitch. I'm not saying murder's right, but in this particular case, I would say that Brian Thompson is not the most sympathetic figure in the world. I mean, he was a literal serial killer. During a hearing on Monday, Mangione's lawyer said that he would not agree to waive his right to an extradition hearing. They found a gun on him when he was in Pennsylvania, and they matched the shell casings found at the shooting scene in Midtown Manhattan. His fingerprints also matched prints on a water bottle and a protein bar wrapper found near the crime. Ooh, boy. People have said that they believe that the gunman bought them at a nearby coffee shop while awaiting his target. Mangione comes from a prominent Maryland family and was valedictorian of his elite Baltimore prep school and had degrees from one of the nation's top private universities. He earned underground and graduate degrees in computer science in 2020 from the University of Pennsylvania. He actually lived in Hawaii in a co-living space just 2 years ago. And the people who lived with, one of the people who lived with him said that he had severe back pain from childhood and that interfered with many aspects of his life. Law enforcement bulletins said that he was likely motivated by his anger by what he called the parasitic health insurance companies and disdain for corporate greed. Well, there you go. There you go. I've been warning y'all about this for a very long time. He wrote that the U.S. has the most expensive healthcare system in the world, and the profits of the major corporations continue to rise while our life expectancy does not. According to the bulletin, which law enforcement said was based on a review of his Mangione's handwritten notes and social media posts. They are actually looking at Mangione's Facebook page where he posted x-rays of numerous screws that were inserted into his spine, as well as writings in which he discussed the difficulty of sustaining that injury. Woo, boy. I've been here for a while at WLTH, I think, since the 2016 presidential cycle. The whole time I've been telling you guys, we are seeing an elite pillaging of the wealth in our society that is unprecedented, probably in human history. The pandemic just sped it up. This guy came from a privileged family. He came from money. Money. One of the richest families in Pennsylvania, family that owned all kinds of businesses. He went to a Ivy League college. This dude did everything and was everything that he was supposed to be according to this capitalist system that we live in. And yet and still, when his back started hurting, still, he felt like he was getting screwed around by these same insurance companies that pull the plug on your grandma and deny your grandma these procedures that could save her life. One of the most tragic things I saw was you go to Brian Thompson's LinkedIn page. I think it's LinkedIn that I was on. And you can actually see people trying to reach out, desperate consumers trying to reach out to Brian Thompson. One of them was saying, like, my wife has stage 4 cancer. She's 45 years old. And I'm begging you, please don't. They denied her this treatment that she needed to survive. We have 4 children. We have 4 small children. Please, you're denying her health care that could save her life. And you're thinking, how desperate is this husband have to be to reach out to the CEO of this company on his LinkedIn page? Like, on social media. That means he's tried to call over the phone. He's tried to send emails. He's tried to do everything to save his wife, the mother of his children. And of course, Brian Thompson ain't seeing none of it because he doesn't care. He makes $10 million a year. And so I talk about this regularly on this show, probably at least 3 or 4 times a year. I do segments on our healthcare system in this country and how we are the only country in the world, the only rich country in the world, should I say, that does not have universal health care. Every other country has found a way to insure all of its citizens. There is only one country where medical bankruptcies are a thing. Who wants to guess what that country is? Like, who wants to guess what it is? Huh? It's America. That's right. The good old US of A. The supposed richest country in the history of the world. Now, as we just talked about in the last segment, we have money to overthrow governments in Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, Syria. We're working on Afghanistan. We're working on Lebanon, should I say. We're working on all these different countries. And that's on top of sending hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine and Israel. We can send hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine, to Israel. We can build an entire military industrial complex and an entire healthcare system that is really a death care system. Because if you look at these health insurance companies, they actually make more money the more people they deny health care. The more they deny people treatments that could save their lives and the lives of their loved ones or help them get out of pain, the more money they make. You have people who've paid taxes their entire lives since they were 13, 14, 15 years old. People who've paid for insurance for most of their lives since they were 17, 18, 19 years old, depending on what jobs you had. And now, as soon as you get sick, as soon as you need the health care you've been paying for your entire life, oh, we can't help you, bro. And now what's even worse, they're designing AI programs, computer programs that are designed to find even more ways to screw you over and deny you health care. And I've been telling y'all this for almost a decade now. There was a candidate about 8 years ago who ran specifically on universal health care. That was his big policy. He was going to get better care for all. So stuff like this wouldn't happen. But the corporate liberal Democratic Party made sure he could not win. And so you end up with Donald Trump. And then he tried to run again in 2020. The corporate liberal Democratic Party made sure he could not win again, cheated him both times. And so, as the saying goes, Robert F. Kennedy Sr. said back in 1967, I think I've played the clip on this show many times, those who make violent revolution impossible, nonviolent revolution impossible, make violent revolution inevitable. Boom. That just is what it is. You have two parties in this country, the Democrats and the Republicans, whose job it is to basically tell all of us there's nothing they can do for us. All we can do is sit there and vote for the two parties back and forth while they screw us over. While they deny us rights that people have in other countries, like universal health care, like labor protections. Did y'all know in Denmark, people who work at McDonald's make $23 an hour and get 6 weeks of vacation time? And while at the same time, they are bringing in millions of illegal immigrants to this country to drive down wages of the few jobs that we do have in this country, so that if there are any jobs in this country, they won't pay a living wage or much of a wage at all. What they think was going to happen? You think people are just going to sit there and take it forever? And then they send all the jobs that was here overseas. You have NAFTA. Thanks, Bill Clinton. 1994. You have PNTR with China. Thanks, Bill Clinton. They sent millions of jobs to China. You have both of these parties who spent the last 30, 40 years. Ronald Reagan destroyed organized labor when he broke the air traffic controller strike. These people are playing with fire. And don't think that it stops here. Don't think that that people are gonna just be like, well, they got one CEO. No, you're already seeing it. The overwhelming reaction to Brian Thompson's death has been a combination of joy and sort of some conflict. Some people are conflicted. Instead of people being just out and out outraged about his death, millions, Democrats, Republicans, non-voters, leftists, libertarians, people in every political sphere heard about Brian Thompson's death, being murdered in the street, and said, you know what? Screw them. They killed my grandma. My grandma paid for health insurance her entire life, and they denied her cancer treatment. I'm not saying he deserved to die, but I ain't about to shed no tears over him. Millions of people said that. Even when right-wing commentators on YouTube or in media tried to say, oh, this is the left is celebrating a dead man's assassination, their own base, their own viewers said, nah, these ain't just leftists. These aren't just liberals. A lot of us are right-wingers, and we can't stand these people either. They denied my husband the care he needed for his prostate cancer. They denied my son the care he needed for his bone marrow cancer or something. Like this is a serious thing, and again, we're being squeezed in every facet of life. We just talked about NIPSCO. I was just at the NIPSCO meeting with Miss McCready and Jackie Lee and all those people on last Thursday. NIPSCO squeezing. You go to the grocery store, they squeezing. Gas just started going down the last month or so, the last few months. I guess when they were trying to win the election, Joe Biden did something and got them to lower them gas prices because gas is cheaper now than it's been in a few years. But when the war in Ukraine first started, it was I was paying $6 for gas. $6. And in places like California, they was paying $8 and $9 for gas. And it's all for the greed of the elites. It's all for the greed of the elites. Elon Musk just became the richest person ever recorded. He just ended up at $400 million. $400 million. I talked about it on this show before. Jeff Bezos, the head of Amazon, could have given every Amazon employee, close to 1 million people in this country who work for Amazon, he could have given them all a bonus of $100,000. $100,000 apiece to close to 1 million people, and been just as rich as he was before the pandemic, just with the money he made during the pandemic. We have witnessed the greatest wealth transfer in the history of the world over the last 5 years or so. People are not playing around. People are not playing around. People are sick and tired of what this system is giving them in every facet. Okay? I myself, I had to deal with the healthcare system when I was young. I got sick when I was very young, early 20s. I didn't have any insurance. I was washing cars, making $5.15 an hour. Then I got really sick. My stomach starts hurting real bad one day out of the blue. I have no idea what's wrong with it. And I'm thinking, oh, crap. I got to go to the doctor. But I'm like, I don't have any insurance. I don't have any insurance. So I was like, no, God, no. My mother's like, nope, you got to go to the hospital. I'm like, God, no, I cannot go to the hospital. She's like, well, I'm not going to let you die. You got to go to the hospital. So I go to the hospital. They give me some x-rays. They bring me in, and just send me back out after a few hours, pretty much. Not really finding out anything. Doctor just says, oh, it just sounds like dyspepsia. Take this, and well, that didn't work. But now they didn't cost me thousands of dollars. And again, I make $5.15 an hour at this point. So I have to go back to the hospital a few weeks later, and I'm still hurting. And so now that's even more money. And so at this point, all I had was a little credit card, so I'm trying to pay down the hospital bills with my credit card by paying the minimum of my credit card. But now I can't keep up with the minimum because the hospital bills are overwhelming the balance on my credit card. And so now I got both of them after me. I got both of these people after me. I swear to you, they found my grandmother in a totally different city, in a whole nother city. They used to call my grandmother 10 times a day. They called me 10 times a day. They found my brother. They called my brother. My brother lives in a totally different city. All these creditors, debtors, they just started piling up. And the worst thing is, I didn't even find out what was wrong with me. And I couldn't afford to go to a doctor that would be able to tell me what was wrong with me. Like I said, this was many years ago. This is a long time ago. So I'm still sick. Now I'm even worse off. I'm practically debilitated by what's going on with my stomach. I can't eat. Like I'm everything I eat has to be like vetted 100%. So I'm not in just dying pain here. Like I'm weak. I can't sleep. Like it was a complete eye-opening experience. This went on for about 4 or 5 years. By the end of it, all my credit was ruined. All of it, everything, it was just a really bad experience. I actually went to a free clinic in East Chicago. They said, go to a free clinic. They can help you out. So I go to the free clinic, which wasn't free. It cost me $100 or so. So it wasn't a free clinic, but it was sold as a free clinic. And the doctor just said, look, you need to get these tests, this test, this test. And I'm like, well, I don't have any insurance. How much does that cost? He said, about $10,000.
Damn.
Yes. Damn, indeed, Florida. So, again, ultimately, I ended up getting better over time. But it wasn't because anything the healthcare system did. I never got to see a doctor. And I still ended up with all the debt, which completely ruined my credit. Hurt my ability to get better jobs. It really ruined my life for some time there. It really did. It was a really bad time. And I really feel bad for the people who have really bad illnesses, who have terminal cancer, who have, these terminal illnesses, diabetes, who have to deal with these companies who are finding new ways to not even give you what you paid for. It's ridiculous. That's okay, folks. That is okay. Change gonna come, as the late great Sam Cooke said. All right, folks, let's change the mood. Let's lighten it up when we come back. Happy Abbeys! We'll be right back after these.